right, welcome back to East Texas Now. There you go, a look at your forecast for this week. Of course, planning ahead into this weekend might be a little too early to do so because, of course, their weather charts always get a little bit easier to decipher as we get closer to the days that are going to be impactful. So let's go now. Busy day for some of our reporters. Joining us now is our reporter J.D. Conte. You were over at the Wounded Warrior Day at All Saints.
Yeah.
That's kind of a big deal. Was it an experience? Because I know usually they're very impactful. They're very moving. They have a speaker come out to talk to the students. What did you get to see?
It was really fun. So some of the Texas Wounded Warriors Veterans Wounded Warrior Foundation, they had some of the guys in Tyler for the weekend. Some of them went to the air show and things of that nature. Some of them went to Camp V. So it was a really cool day. They had one speaker who we'll talk about in a second, but they had a police escort. They came outside. They got greeted by the kids, and then they came inside to the gym where all the students from all the grades of the school, it was just like resounding. Like I said, I couldn't hear earlier, but now it's not. It's even worse because it was so loud in that gym, like the kids chanting USA, and they had all the different veterans stand up, and the band played like the different anthems for all the different branches and stuff, and they had them stand up when it was theirs, and it was just such a great time. And the veterans talking about it's so great to have days like that, and it kind of restores their faith, and there's kids that are that patriotic,
Right.
So it was awesome. So the keynote speaker was Sergeant Brian Anderson. He was a military policeman in Iraq when he stepped in an IED, impressive explosive device. And he's a triple amputee, and since then he's been doing these kind of things. He's an author. He's been in a bunch of movies. He was in American Sniper.
Oh,
he
really?
was he played one of the veterans that Chris Kyle, aka Bradley Cooper, was helping when he came back here. And Chris Kyle did a lot of stuff with veterans here in Texas.
Yes.
Helping veterans. So got to talk to him after, but right now you're going to hear part of what he said to the students this day, which is just a really great message.
All right, you got it. Let's take a listen.
Yeah.
I woke up as a triple amputee. This is me. Straight up. Like, this is it. I'm using my hand, but I still have my arm. I can take off my hand too. Just can't take off your hand. Yeah, don't try too hard, okay? I don't want you guys to be afraid of me. I'm not afraid of you. I want you to stare, ask questions. Because when I first woke up, that's what I was curious about. What does this look like? What is this going to be like? There were a lot of questions, and I didn't have the answers to any of them. But that didn't mean give up. You know what I mean? Okay. So, I woke up and I'm looking at myself as a triple amputee and I'm thinking, okay, now what? What kind of life am I going to have? What kind of quality of life am I going to have? And am I going to be able to do anything on my own? Things like that. And I want to say perspective is everything. How you choose to think about things. I'll get into that later, but I told myself, you know what? Just because you don't know doesn't mean you're going to say no. You're going to try things, you're going to do things, you're going to have that attitude like, you know what? Just because you don't have legs doesn't mean you can't go climb a tree. How do you know until you try? So that's the attitude I learned fortunately. And having that attitude, it really kind of opened a lot of doors for me. I started skateboarding, I started snowboarding, I started trying things, and I really started having fun. And I think the fun is kind of underestimated. That's cool. Sometimes we forget that life is supposed to be fun. I mean, it's hard. Don't get me wrong, life can be extremely hard. But that's also what makes life so awesome and interesting and unique and different for every individual. So I want to get back on one thing, perspective. How you choose to think about things. And you can put this in every aspect of your life. If you choose to think about something in a negative way, your mind is going to look for things to affirm that negative way. If you choose to look at things in a positive way, your mind is going to look for positive things to affirm that thought. So it's a big issue on what you're going to think about, what you're going to choose to do, and then ultimately your actions in the end, and who you're going to end up becoming as a person, your character. All I can say is be kind, try to help others, and look after your friends. The world's a big place. Yeah. So, if I were to look at losing my leg in my hand as a bad thing, as a negative, I don't think I'd be happy, because negative thoughts really kind of weigh you down. And so I chose to try to look at positive things. And for me, it was kind of easy flipping a switch. I was depressed. I was in depression after 4 months. Looking down, it got into my head. Oh wow, I'm half a person. Like, oh wow, I'm half a person. And I was depressed, I was angry, I didn't like that feeling. And I was like, okay, let's change the setting. I need to get out of here. I was still at Walker Reed. And so I went to Vegas to have fun, being my best friend. And when I did that, having fun forced me to focus on what was in front of me and live in the moment. And living in the moment also caused me to have fun. And so then I got back to Walter Reed, and I'm sitting there just thinking about this little concept of, wait, so if I focus on what was in front of me and live in the moment, and that helped me to have fun, why don't I do that instead of thinking about the bad thing and the negative thing and what happened and just over and over again? Like, that's not going to get me anywhere. So then I just put the blinders on, put that in the back burner, and just focus forward. I literally put my head down and I didn't care what everybody else thought, what everybody else was looking at me. I didn't care.
Now, like JD mentioned, he actually got to talk to the keynote speaker after his big speech to the students. We're going to hear more about that and just more about the event itself coming up later tonight in our 6 o'clock newscast. And of course, we'll also post it over on our website at kltv.com and KTRE.